Russians are still panicking about Ukrainian incursion in Belgorod. Russian propagandists report clashes in Belgorod Oblast, saying Ukrainian forces aim to break through in Krasnoyaruzhsky district. Small teams cross the border, clearing barriers with gear and focused ops. Ukrainian units reportedly slipped behind lines near Grafovka and Demidovka in Russia. In occupied Skadovsk, Kherson region, a car carrying 2 Russian officers exploded on March 20th at 2040, reports Ukraine's defense intelligence. The blast occurred on Myru Street, targeting a Nissan pickup. 414th Unmanned Strike Aviation Brigade, Birds of Magyar, have destroyed a rare Russian remote mine-laying system, Zemlyadelye, in the Belgorod region. The system was targeting the direction of Rafovka, where Ukrainian forces are currently conducting cross-border operations.
Harry, the definition of farming in the minds of Ukrainians is somewhat different from agriculture for earthworms. This scab is intended for the rapid creation of minefields using rocket projectiles. This is how it scatters up to 600 anti-personnel mines POM-3. It does it quickly and smartly. Minefields of varying complexity, day and night, anti-tank and anti-personnel, including with pre-made passages for its own troops. And here we flew it with brigade reconnaissance somewhere on the Kursk-Belgorod direction, as the worms call it tonight. Well, how not to sing it out? Since the beginning of the full-scale war, one mention of the destruction of Zemlyadelye by National Guard warriors in March 2023. It was written then that this gizmo cost $25 million. I can't verify that info, but the price isn't what's important. We are neither selling nor buying. We are fighting. And now the final smack. Leader with reconnaissance. A hit is recorded under burning peace. First appeared on Red Square in the Kremlin at the parade in 2020. This one would make a good photo zone near the mausoleum. Up to 50 missiles on 2 blocks were hit. Therefore, as a result of the FPV drone strike, the fireworks show was quite impressive. The Klima Team Birds of Hungary team hit it. Morning. The DR Group's reconnaissance today confirmed, as they say, farming on the battlefield, quiet and calm. Eyes itching, worm-like horror.
A Russian military sensei graced us with a holy sermon, insisting war's sacred because, obviously, Satan's just mad at the Orthodox Church. See? Russia versus Ukraine. Probably Donetsk region.
А ради чего эта война?
Ну, это война, можно сказать, в сердце человека. Сатана воюет с Богом за уничтожение веры православной. То, что Гитлер обещал, не выполнил. Теперь его, заморыши делают. Приспешники все, которые недобитки остались со времен войны. Вот теперь они тут порядок наводят, хозяева якобы. А на самом деле они веру православную уничтожают.
Low-altitude flight of Ukrainian Su-24s from the 7th Tactical Aviation Brigade. Trump claimed once again that he is the world's greatest deal-maker, announcing that the US, Ukraine, and Russia have outlined the contours of a settlement deal.
And I can tell you, I've been having very good discussions, as you know, with President Zelensky and with President Putin. And President Putin will tell you that without the United States, he wouldn't be worried. But he is worried when the United States is involved. And I have to tell you, I've dealt very well with both gentlemen, and we have, I think we have the confines of a deal. I hope we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, and by far most importantly, thousands of young people, and they're not American people, they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, are being killed every week, thousands a week.
As Russia continues to attack Ukraine, are you planning to impose any sort of
Well,
sanctions?
they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have, we have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well.
authorities saw no problem in transporting a corpse openly in Novosibirsk Oblast. The body of the deceased was transported on a sled to the morgue of the Ubinsk Central District Hospital. When local residents were outraged, the authorities admitted that this was not very ethical, but did not reveal any violations. That is, no one will be punished. Russia is facing a grim situation due to its heavy losses in Ukraine. Mounting casualties, economic strain from sanctions, and widespread discontent are taking a toll on both the military and civilians. Reports indicate severe manpower shortages, with forced conscription and the deployment of undertrained troops. The economy continues to suffer as resources are diverted to sustain the war effort, while sanctions limit access to critical technology and financial markets. European Union leaders are now in agreement that the EU must be fully capable of defending itself against a Russian attack by 2030. Despite earlier resistance to the deadline from some countries, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk said, Europe is dramatically stepping up spending on defense because of concern that the United States, which had guaranteed Europe's security since the end of World War II, was no longer keen to do so, shifting its attention to the Indo-Pacific. But not all EU countries are equally committed to higher defense spending, especially those geographically further from Russia. Speaking after a summit of EU leaders that discussed the EU plan to step up defense readiness, Tusk said, countries now spending less than others on defense had been reluctant to accept the 5-year scheme proposed by the European Commission. Behind the scenes, it stirred some emotions, especially in countries that spend little on defense now. There are several large countries that still spend very little, and they don't want to spend more. For now, Tusk told a press conference, NATO member Spain spent 1.28% of GDP on defense in 2024, and Italy spent 1.49%, falling well short of the agreed NATO target of 2% of GDP, despite 3 years of war in Ukraine and U.S. pressure to further raise the NATO defense spending target. NATO defense. Slovenia, Belgium, and Portugal also spend between 1.29% and 1.55% of GDP on defense. Italy plans to increase military spending to 1.6% of GDP in 2027, while Spain wants to reach NATO's spending target of 2% of GDP only before 2029.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.